Welcome to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Alton West. Today I will have guests on from the Rod Benders Bass Club, so you want to make sure that you stay tuned for those interviews coming up in just a moment. Welcome to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. Today I'm sitting down with a couple of gentlemen that have been on the show in the past. We're sitting down today with the president, Mr. Eddie Champion, and the vice president, Mr. Richard Smith III of the Rod Benders Bass Club. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Rod Benders. Now, I've been involved with you all for now about 2 years or maybe a little bit more. And I want to ask the question, Mr. Champion, talk a little bit about the club and the organization, and particularly the word Rod Benders, if you don't mind.
Well, let me do Rod Benders first.
Okay.
Rod Benders, as a fisherman, you always want to have that rod bent. So that's how we got the name of Rod Benders. We wanted something kind of catchy.
That means you got something heavy on the line, right?
Absolutely, and
okay.
that's what, that's the desire. The club itself has been around about 26 years. We were a group of deer hunters back when, and we desired a little fellowship and camaraderie during the off season from deer hunting. So we established a bass club, and from there it started off with 9 guys, and it's grown to 50 plus.
Oh my goodness, okay, very good. From deer hunting to fishing.
Yes.
So evidently your wives were telling you all to get out of the house, it sounds like.
You seem to have that. I think you've got it.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. All right, let me ask you, Richard, now you were the vice president of Rod Benders.
Yes.
Now, talk a little bit about your role as the vice president and how you've seen things evolve.
Well, as the vice president, of course, I'm at this gentleman's right here, beck and call.
I understand.
And in conjunction with that, I do a segment called How To during the course of our monthly meetings. And that basically is to show and tell and to teach and educate as far as bass fishing and how to do a Carolina rig versus a Texas rig, and how to fish with a crankbait, and so on and so forth. So the educational segment of our meeting I handle. In this gentleman's absence, I would also take over our monthly meetings. In terms of actually seeing the organization or the club grow over the years, bass fishing has evolved from the sport that used to be our grandfather's club to something that's very complicated and very electronic savvy. You have to have savvy as far as electronics is concerned. So as far as the evolution of it, you need to know about the barometric pressure, the pH factor of the water. You need to know the electronics on the boat now. It's very, very, very complicated sport. Yeah. And as a result, the monies have actually grown in the pots, and the people's desire to actually join the club as well.
Well, very good. Mm-hmm. You talked about a couple of good things. I want to come back and ask about a couple of those knots I think you were talking about. Okay. So you mean the days of snatch poles are gone?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I can remember going fishing with my grandparents, some years ago, and that's all it was the snatch pole. And now we have the, like I say, the high techness of it,
right,
that it really come into this, and it is just that, a sport.
Sure, it is.
Talk a little bit, if you don't mind, Rich. You mentioned the Carolina and the Texas. I guess these are types of knots.
Well, actually, it's a method by which you go about tying your line and the lure to your rod and reel. Okay? Your Texas rig, for an example, is just simply a weight with a hook, and it was evolved out of the state of Texas, I understand, and the Carolina rig evolved out of the state of Carolina.
Okay.
And that's a tad bit different, but the methods are basically the same. You're dragging a plastic worm and or lizard or something of that nature along the bottom of the lake to induce the fish to bite.
Okay, all right, very good.
And it's my understanding from a historical standpoint that about 80% of all fish that's been caught, as far as bass is concerned, are caught on a worm.
On a worm.
A worm or a lizard.
Oh man. Right. Things that really, talking about the evolution, I can remember the last time I went fishing, I used some minnows and had baits as well. I caught a minnow with the minnow, so I had to throw it back.
Okay.
But, and it's so exciting, the fact that, you see these guys pull these big old 10, 12, 20-pound bass out of the lake and stuff. So I know that you all are looking for another great turnout. Let me ask you now, and I know that this is the 9th year that you all will have been here on the West Point Lake. Do you all do fishing in any other areas?
We're fishing pretty much all over Alabama, Tennessee, and Georgia. Okay. We're fishing all the lakes, the Savannah River chain, Clark Hill, Russell, Hartwell. We fish Bartlett's Ferry, which is right below West Point, and we fish Of course, West Point is our favorite lake. We're there every year.
You stole my question. I was going to ask, what's your favorite lake?
For the last 26 years, we fished West Point every year, several times a year. So we really enjoy fishing the lake. It's a great fishery. So we enjoy fishing West Point.
Well, very good. And again, I want to go ahead and mention, when is the tournament going to, I know we're going to have some other, your marketing director come on here, but go ahead and tell us when that's going to take place.
Okay, our tournament this year is going to be April the 19th, Pine Road Park. We're looking for a great turnout. The park is a great area to have a tournament because of all of the rooms. So we can, spectators, children, the fishermen, it's great for everybody. So we'd love to have everybody come out, and I think the kids will enjoy that. And of course, the food is going to be great. We always feed people after the tournament, so it's going to.
That's always the draw, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Richard, if you don't mind, talk a little bit about the diversity of the group, because that was one of the things that impressed me when you all came. You're a very diverse group. Talk about that for us.
Yes, we are. And over the years, we've seen more diversity in fishing, as well as within our club itself. We have older people, we have younger, and we have everything sandwiched in between. We have African Americans and of course Caucasians and what have you. And we're a welcoming club. We welcome with warm arms and fuzziness all people from all walks of life.
Okay, well, very good. Right. And I know that you talked about sandwiching between kids. I understand that you all are doing some youth development, and I want to ask both you gentlemen just to comment about that. Talk a little bit about the youth development as far as it relates to fishing. What are you all doing there?
I think the future of the sport depends on development of our youth. We've got a couple of gentlemen in the club whose sons are very good young fishermen. So we've actually started with them. But what we've established as a criteria for buying them a shirt to stay in our club, they bring along one of their buddies from school. So what we're doing, we're working to establish a high school bass club that will be able, hopefully, to go into college and get an education bass fishing.
Okay, very good. Richard, I'll get you to come in and talk about youth development. I think, talking about those anglers, I'm sure that was something that impressed them, the young people.
Right, and from all indications that we have, of course, you know, fishing is in fact designated as a sport, and it's developed from high school and then of course college, and you can get to a university by way of a fishing scholarship today. Okay. And on any given lake that we might appear on, we'll see a high school team and or a college team participating in their own tournaments, and I like to see that because that's continuously developing the sport itself and taking it to a different level.
Absolutely. You know, and my nephew, he loves to fish himself, so I'm gonna have to try to get him out there, and maybe he can learn a couple of new trades or whatever. Right. Let me ask you now, if there was someone that was in our listening area that would like to know more about Rod Benders, or like to maybe even possibly become a member of Rod Benders, how can they do that? And I'll ask both you gentlemen to comment to that.
Okay, we have a website. It's rodbendersbassclub.org. That is probably the best way you can actually join the club or petition the club for membership right there on the website. That's probably the easiest way. If you see all these yellow shirts on any lake, we all carry business cards, so we could actually contact you that way. But you'd be surprised the people that we just meet in restaurants with the yellow shirts. Hey, do you have a card that we can pass on? And we pick up a lot of members that way. Where wives in the shopping centers want their husbands to have something to do, we give them a card and they show up at the meeting.
Absolutely. Right. Richard, you want to comment to that as well?
Oh, he's absolutely right. In conjunction with that, you know, we're our own ambassadors. So when we're in fact out at various sporting events and or fishing shops, you know, we wear our clothes and our brand, for an example, and it's inevitable that somebody will come up to us and ask about fishing. And we ourselves are our own ambassadors, and we love to talk about the Rod Benders Bass Club.
I bet. So I remember the first time that I met you gentlemen, I was very impressed because, you know, you, like you are now, very professional, came in and visited with the mayor and council, and I think they were thoroughly impressed, and here we are again, the 9th year on the West Point Lake, but you guys have been together for over 27 years, you said. Let me ask you, if someone was interested and they went to the website, I guess they'll get all the information there, but are there annual dues? I just want to ask that question.
Those annual dues, our dues are about $40 a month for the most part. That will allow you to fish and allow you to wear the shirt, the jacket, and do all the things that we do. Okay. So that's what it would cost you just to be a member of the club.
Okay, well, very good. Let me ask you now, because you guys are going to be here on April the 19th out at Pine Road Park, beautiful park there. You're inviting the public to come out, and I understand that there's going to be a weigh-in that's going to be taking place. Talk about that for us, if you don't mind.
The weigh-in is an exciting time for us. It gives us a chance to display our sign along with all the things that the rod benders are capable of. This is where we give away the prizes from the sponsors. So it's a gathering place where we can actually showcase what the rod benders can do as a bass club. Okay. And most people, nobody does it like the rod benders. we make sure that's one particular show on.
Okay, well, very good. No one does it better, right?
That's right. No one does it better.
Let me ask you now, and I know there's a lot of things that you all hope that the public would take away from this. Talk a little bit about one thing that you hope that they could take away from this event, if you don't mind. And I'm going to have Dale come up later on to talk more specific.
The one thing I would hope they would take away from this is that we are diverse and we're actually public friendly. When I say public friendly, anyone can approach the Rod Benders Bass Club and become a participating part of what we're doing. And we want to make sure that they feel that love when they come to the park to fish with us.
Okay, very good. Richard, any closing comments?
Well, what I would like to say is that we have people that have participated in this tournament, our homecoming event, for the last 8 years, and they're proposing to come back, and they come as far as Detroit, they come as far as South Carolina, North Carolina, down to Florida, New Jersey, and what have you, and they've seen the actual benefit of the tournament, and they like exactly what we see, what they see, and how we put on a grand event, and they're coming back for the 5th or 6th or 7th time.
Very good. That's awesome to have people come from that far away.
Right.
And you know, I know that the West Point Lake is a beautiful lake, and I'm thankful that it's a full lake this year again, so that you all have a great turnout. So I tell you what I'm going to do, gentlemen, I'm going to take a quick commercial break, and I'm going to bring up your marketing director, and also one other gentleman I'm going to bring up.
Tournament director.
The tournament director. We're going to bring those gentlemen up and talk a little bit more about some of the events and things that will be taking place that day. So I want to say thank you very much for coming on and sharing the information with us today.
Thanks, Al.
Thank you very much
for inviting
us.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We're back for more City Week in just a moment. Welcome back to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. Now I have the pleasure of sitting down with Dale Hill, who is the marketing director of Rod Benders Bass Club, and also the tournament director, Roy Phillips. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Well, I'm going to start out with, I want to get to you just a second, Dale, but I want to talk to Roy for just a second, because I understand he's a local homegrown guy, right?
Yes, sir.
Talk a little bit about your experience here with the Rod Benders, if you don't mind.
I kind of joined the Rod Benders, I guess, about 13 years ago now,
okay.
And I fished West Point ever since they filled it up, backed it up, and I wanted to do something other than that. I felt like I was a pretty good angler, pretty good fisherman, and a guy named Big Fella, Kenny Collins, he was on West Point fishing one day, and he saw me down in my boat. Now he said, why don't you come join the club? He said, you seem like you're a fairly good fisherman. I said, I hold my own. So he kept talking to me, so I finally joined the Rod Bender. Been there for 13 years. I've got 6 Angler of the Year titles. I've got 3 Classic wins. So they invited me in, and I kind of ran from there. Oh, so it's a great club. It's a great
definitely
club.
Our stick.
I was going to say, he's a little modest, is he, Dale?
He's extremely modest. He's one of the best anglers on West Point and in the Southeast.
Oh my goodness!
He's an incredible angler.
That's an awesome title to hold, and you know.
Thanks.
Then let me ask you now, Dale, because this is. I know you and I, this is our second year working together, but you guys have been here this will be the 9th year.
Yes.
From a marketing standpoint and the things that have taken place, talk a little bit about your expectations.
Well, you know, what we've tried to do, and you know, we've had a wonderful partnership that has developed over the course of the years that we've been working with the Chamber, City Council. Our goal is really to create an event that is broader and bigger and inclusive than most bass tournaments are. And our goal has been to be as diverse as we can, get anglers from all different walks of life, expose them to what we're doing, but more importantly, do it on a professional level, a level that is second only to the national organizations. You know, and that's our goal, to highlight our beautiful lake, West Point. We have anglers coming from all over the country to fish this event. And it's important that people understand that our organization is extremely professional. And what we want to project and what people to know and leave and know that we love our home lake of West Point. And we are very driven at having a tremendous impact in the local economy.
Absolutely, and we're going to come back to talking about that impact in just a moment, if you don't mind, because there's a lot of things that go into it. I'm sure with any event, when you plan an event this large, there's a lot of moving parts behind the scene, and I know that you, the individual, had the finger on the pulse. Let me, Roy, I'm going to ask you, the tournament director.
Right.
Talk a little bit about the layout of the event for that day.
Well, for that day, we're going to start welcoming you at the beginning of the mega ramp. As you enter the park, we're going to have a welcome station standing right there waiting on you. We'll be inviting you in with open arms, like Mr. Champion said earlier, and we want you to feel, you know, hey, you coming to the biggest event you could ever come. It's almost like going to the Bassmaster Classic. We're going to pretty much put you on stage and show you that, hey, you came to the right event to win that $5,000. So when you roll into the park, you got two sets of guys at the front welcome you in. You roll on down, we're going to check your live well, we're going to get you registered in, we're going to put you in. We're going to check your live wells, we're going to check your kill switches, we're going to make sure you're safe as possible on the water. We're also going to check your aerators to make sure you don't kill a fish out of West Point Lake while we're doing our tournament. So we're going to do everything that we can do to make sure your tournament goes off without a hitch. You're safe on the water and you bring your fish in alive. So those things we're going to do at the beginning of the tournament. So as you come in the afternoon, we'll have a stage set up, we'll weigh your fish, we'll congratulate you if you win, when you win, and it'll just be a big event. We're going to make it as big as Bassmasters, hopefully, for the ones that's coming to participate.
Very good. You said a lot of great things. Safety is a thing that I pulled out of that.
Right.
Talk a little bit about that and how important safety is. Both of you gentlemen can chime in on that.
Go ahead.
Well, you know, there is nothing more important than safety on the water. We don't take anything for granted. It's important that we have fun, a great time, but at all times, safety is at the foremost of our minds. You know, we're running bass boats that can run in excess of 80 miles an hour, you know, and you have 100+ boats screaming around West Point, not along out of our tournament, but the local anglers that are fishing, just pleasure fishing, pleasure boaters. We practice safety on the water at all times, and we insist that those individuals that fish with us adhere to the local policies of the lake, the DNR policies that we all are governed by, the laws and regulations.
Yeah, we do have DNR. We'll be there. They'll be on site. We will have a mechanic there in case you have issues on site. So we're trying to make it as safe as possible, keep you, hey, on the water if you want to be on the water, and have a great time. So it relies on us doing our part and you doing yours.
That's right. You know, it's talking about those moving parts. So those are things that most people, like myself, if I was going fishing, I'm just going to grab my rod and go.
Right.
You know? But you also have to keep in mind those things that's going to keep that individual safe. And let me come back to you, Roy. You talked about a $5,000. That also caught my ear, my ears as well. There's a $5,000 award. Talk a little bit about some of the prizes, and both of you gentlemen can chime in on that as well.
Okay, we pay 1 out of every 5 boats. So if we got 100 boats, that's a lot of payback. So first place guy is going to win that $5 grand. So if he's got 20 pounds, nobody can beat that 20-pound sack, then he wins $5,000. So he can only bring 5 fish to the scale. So he want to bring his best 5. So you know, at the end of the day, out of that 100+ boats, whoever got the biggest bag will win that $5 grand, and then we pay down from that. So last year we paid what? 16 places?
16 places.
16 places. So, you know, you can get your money back.
Absolutely.
Just got to go fishing.
Absolutely. Got to go fishing.
Got to go fishing.
Absolutely.
And we have a tremendous group of prizes. We give probably more prizes away than anybody. We over the year we collect prizes from our various sponsors. The club also invests in different products, and we have entities who want to do promotional opportunities within the club that will donate prizes to get the visibility through our audience and through the anglers. And we give away some pretty cool stuff, and we try to get prizes that are geared towards anglers that they really can use. You know, like a hydraulic jack or cables or fishing supplies. Then we give out gas cards and meals at restaurant cards, gift cards. So there's a menagerie of things that we give away. And it's really exciting because most people come, they never get anything usually when you're in the tournament. When the tournament's over, it's gone. We tend to try to, kind of dote on people a little bit. We want to feed them. We want to have the opportunity to see some of the vendors that we've got there who have their products and wares and services. Spend some time looking through those and spending some time with them. As well as some of the local vendors who will be there with their services actually for sale. We have some, this year we're excited, we've got a local ice cream vendor and a local food truck who will also be on site that will definitely go towards even involving even more economic impact for the LaGrange area with small businesses, and that's really important to us.
Absolutely, absolutely. You're talking about, you know, the economic impact. Talk a little bit about, and you have to be specific, but just talk a little bit, if you don't mind, Dale, the impact that this tournament has on the LaGrange, Troup County area.
Well, you know, bass fishing in general is a $60 billion sport. That's a tremendous, tremendous amount of money generated by one particular sport.
That's right.
And in our area, and as most people in the listening audience would attain, Bassmasters and the big fishing organization would never want to come to a place like this if it didn't have the infrastructure. First, if it didn't have the water.
That's right.
Like we do, the great water that we do, the infrastructure to be able to support the people that's coming in terms of the hotels, restaurants, gas stations, all of those amenities and services that they need to kind of sustain over the course of the time that they're here. And that's so important around a fishery like West Point, because all of the industries and businesses around here are, they can be successful or not because of the amount of people that are being attracted to the lake.
Absolutely.
And for us, it's important that we attract as many anglers as we can. And as we mentioned earlier, you know, we've got anglers coming to this event from all over the country, as far as north as New Jersey and Maryland, as far south as Florida. I mean, who are driving in and coming in a week, sometimes a couple of weeks in advance to practice, to prepare for the tournament. So the influx of money for the economy is substantial. When you look at, you've got 200 plus anglers who are pockets are full of money.
That's right.
They got to buy gas, they got to eat, they got to have somewhere to stay.
That's right.
So the heads and beds effect in terms of what we do with the hotels, what we do with the restaurants is highly critical. And we've done the math on what we generate is in excess of $100,000 of economic impact. And then the multiplier effect of that times 3, that's very substantial.
Absolutely.
You know, so that can mean the difference in a business being able to hire somebody or being able to pay a few other bills that they didn't be able to pay because the rod benders were here.
That's right. Absolutely.
And that's real important to us.
Well, and you know, like I say, this is the 9th year that you all have been here in the community, and we're very, very thankful to have you all here and to hear, you know, the professionalism and the safety and all of those things that when people come out, they know they're gonna have a safe, good time. And let me ask you, Roy, again, because I know there's a lot of things, we heard prizes are gonna be given out that day. Would there be activities for the youth that would be there that day?
We
Talk
always
about that.
put the youth first.
Okay.
We got games set up. We got a center just set up for kids. So you can bring your kids out early that day, and hey, we got all kind of activities for them. So
we got with the inflatable hoop shoot. Kids can come out and we'll be giving their prizes. Those kids that come out and shoot basketballs and so many goals, and we'll have a few other activities for them. But more importantly, we really want to interject and include them in the activities so the youngsters can kind of see this process.
Right.
You know, we also give away some things from the stage to the kids. You know, some prizes that hopefully we can give just about every kid that comes. It depends on how many are there, but we try to impact every kid that comes.
Very
you know,
good.
because it's just not about the tournament with us. It's about a family experience.
Absolutely.
You know, and we're trying to grow that, and that's the part of it that we really want and appreciate you bringing us on so we can get it out to your listening audience. That we encourage you to come out. Bring your lawn chairs, come out with a cooler and hang out with us. You know, we'll give you something to drink. You know, that stuff is there for you just to sit down and have a beautiful day out in the park with the family in the fresh air and watch some big old West Point bass caught.
That's right. Let me ask you, as we get ready to close up, gentlemen, if there was someone watching that owns a business here and they wanted to make some donations, how could they do that?
Well, they can go to our website, www.rodbendersbassclub.org. We have links to reach us and send us an email, and we'll call you back. I will be the one probably calling you back, Dale Hill, and just let us know. We're more than happy to promote your business from within what we're doing relative to what you want to do. And it's important that they understand that we want those items that are consumer driven, that people really want. You know, if they have a service that they want to promote, we can give them an opportunity to do that. You know, and as we continue to grow this event, we'd like to have a major event with vendors. You know, those people who've experienced Bassmasters, you get a chance to see a lot of the vendors on site and experience their products and services. And we want to eventually get to that level. You know, we have some wonderful people around Highland Marina, you know, they're supporting us, the anglers that are coming out of there. And places like that, we want to make sure that those type of businesses also feel the benefit of what we're doing because we're all in this together.
Absolutely. Very good. Roy, closing comment. Tell us one more time when and where.
April the 19th, Pine Road Park. And not only are we paying the biggest sack, we're also paying for the smallest sack.
Okay.
So just because you caught little fish that day, don't feel bad. You can get a check also.
That
Special
means
prize
that-
for you.
Okay. Well, gentlemen, it's a pleasure to sit down with you all today and talk. And Dale, you had one last closing comment?
One thing, I just want to thank our sponsors, and more
Okay.
importantly, I want to say thank you to the City Council, LaGrange, and the Troup County Bureau of Tourism.
Okay.
Laura and Paige over at the building, all the staff there, they're wonderful people.
Yes.
Okay.
They've stood behind us, and we really appreciate the support that we've gotten over the years.
Well, we thank you all again for being here in the community, and we know there's going to be a great tournament that day, and it'll be a great turnout. So I'm looking forward to it as well.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, gentlemen, for coming
Thank
on
you.
today. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We're back for more City Week in just a moment.
Rod Benders.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for joining for City Week this week. I've had guests on from the Rod Benders Bass Club, the president, Mr. Eddie Champion, the vice president, Richard Smith III, their marketing director, Dale Hill, and also the tournament director, Roy Phillips, as they talked about the upcoming event that will be taking place on the West Point Lake, April the 19th, 2014, beginning at Safe Light up until 3 p.m. So come on out, bring the whole family. There'll be a lot of food, fun, and prizes that will be given away. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you've enjoyed those interviews. And as always, I want to invite you back for more of City Week.